My family wants me to cancel my wedding date so my sister can get married first. I'm a 28-year-old guy, and my fiancée and I have been engaged for about 18 months. We've been together for years, and the plan has always been to get married next spring. We've already booked the venue, paid the deposit for the caterer, and locked in a photographer. All the big stuff is done, so I was starting to feel like we could just relax and enjoy the countdown to our wedding day. But then, all hell broke loose. To set the stage a little, my family is big and pretty close. We have a lot of traditions, and weddings are a huge deal. My sister, who's 25, just got engaged recently. And while I'm happy for her, she's had a rough time trying to plan her wedding. The main issue is that she's been struggling to book a venue for the date she wants, and that's where the drama starts. She's been pretty vocal about being envious of the venue we booked. Every time she brings it up, she calls it perfect and goes on about how her fiancé's family can't afford something like that. I didn't think much of it. Lots of people talk about wedding envy when they're planning, right? But I didn't realize how deep her jealousy went until a family dinner a couple of weeks ago. We're all sitting there, having a pretty normal meal, when my mom starts making this weird speech about how amazing it would be if my sister could use our venue. I'm sitting there, fork halfway to my mouth, thinking it's a joke, but she keeps going. She's talking about how my sister is younger, and since her fiancé is in the military, there's a chance he might be deployed soon. According to my mom, it just makes sense for her to get married first, and wouldn't it be so lovely if we moved our wedding date so my sister could have the venue? At this point, I'm still processing because what? My fiancé and I had this date booked for over a year. Everything's paid for. But my mom is dead serious, and my sister is sitting there nodding like it's a done deal. My fiancé, she's furious, and I can't blame her. The whole thing is completely ridiculous. She doesn't even say a word at the table, just gives me a look that says, do not even entertain this idea. So I politely, but firmly tell my mom and sister that there's no way we're changing our wedding plans. And of course, my sister bursts into tears. Full-on waterworks at the dinner table. She storms out, and my mom goes after her, throwing us the most disappointed look I've ever seen. The rest of the dinner is just awkward silence, with my parents clearly uncomfortable but not saying much. I thought maybe that was the end of it. Maybe my sister would cool down, realize how insane the whole idea was, and we could all move on. But nope. The next day, my phone is blowing up. Texts, missed calls, voicemails, you name it. It's all from various family members, and the general message is that I need to think about family unity and be the bigger person. My sister must have gotten to them first because everyone is acting like it's some small ask. Like all we'd have to do is snap our fingers and the wedding plans would magically change. Some of the messages are trying to guilt trip me into giving in. It's just one small sacrifice for the sake of family harmony, they say, as if moving an entire wedding is no big deal. My mom calls and starts talking about how weddings are supposed to bring families together, not divide them. She's going on and on about how disappointed my grandmother would be if the family couldn't get along for such an important event. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there staring at my phone, feeling like I'm living in some kind of weird alternate universe. My fiancée is understandably furious about all of this. She doesn't even want me to entertain these conversations, and I don't blame her. It's our wedding, and we've worked hard to make everything perfect for us. I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I do what any rational person does in the age of the internet. I turn to Reddit. I throw up a post explaining the situation, asking if I'm being unreasonable for refusing to change our wedding date. I'm half expecting people to say, yeah, family comes first, you should consider it. But the response is intense. The post blows up. People are furious on my behalf, telling me to stand my ground and not give in to this crazy request. Reddit support is great, but it also makes me realize how ridiculous this whole situation is. My sister even texts me an ultimatum: either I give up the date, or she won't come to the wedding, and she'll make sure the rest of the family doesn't either. I didn't think things could get worse, but now it feels like my whole family is turning against me because I won't let my sister hijack our wedding. At this point, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to stay calm and not let this ruin the excitement of our wedding, but the pressure is getting intense. My fiancé and I are on the same page, we're not changing anything. But with the family piling on the guilt and my sister basically threatening to blow everything up, it feels like this is just the beginning of a much bigger mess. Update 1. I woke up the next morning to a phone buzzing nonstop on my nightstand. Half asleep, I reached over, thinking maybe it was work or a random spam call, but no, it was family. Again, more texts, more missed calls. My grandmother was leading the charge this time, urging me to do the right thing and keep the family together. It was like they'd all gotten the same script overnight. Everyone was suddenly on board with this idea that I should just hand over our wedding date like it was no big deal. The guilt trip was real, and I could feel the pressure building. By mid-morning, I was trying to shake it off, but then my parents showed up at our place unannounced. They looked serious, and I knew this wasn't going to be a casual visit. My fiancé and I let them in, and right away, they jumped into this whole spiel about family traditions. My dad was saying how, in our family, it's always been customary for the younger sibling to marry first if they're ready. My mom was trying to be more emotional about it, saying how torn up the family is and how she's worried this whole situation is going to cause a permanent rift. It was heavy. My fiancé wasn't having any of it. She stood her ground, calmly but firmly letting them know that we weren't going to move our wedding date.